Okay, so today we're doing two things, still continuing to talk about decimal stuff. So the first thing I have is a quick conversation about the decimal number line. I don't think it's worth the whole day to just do that, so I'm going to also venture through and we're going to talk about rounding a little bit. So why don't you call time out on that and just rejoin us for our conversation. So if I draw you a decimal number line, it kind of looks like the inches ruler, but it isn't. Okay, but it does look like that. So what would you guess? So far this is partially drawn. Anybody have a guess what these numbers would be, these big giantest marks would be for?
The first one would be 0.
Yeah,
Middle one's 1.
agreed.
Last one's 1.5. No, 2.
Disagree, I'd go 2, yes. So we're going to go 0 is just have a starting point somewhere. A 1, a 2. The biggest marks are going to be for our whole numbers. People are usually good at guessing that. It's just like the inches ruler, the biggest marks are for the whole numbers. Then I stopped usually asking a question because sometimes people would give me sort of a silly answer for this. If I ask what this mark is for, frequently people would say a half. So if you were thinking it would be a half, then just be glad I didn't ask the question and you yell a half out loud and me say that that's like a pretty silly answer. Why would a half be a pretty silly answer for this particular setting?
A half is a fraction.
A half is a fraction, and this thing is called decimal number line. So if this thing is called the decimal number line, it sort of stands to reason we should give back all decimal answers. So when we take the quiz in a couple more days, we do about a quiz a week roughly. Don't give me fraction answers for the decimal number line. For the inches ruler, 100%, yeah, it's all fractions. But for this, we need to shift the decimals in mind. So even though this is the halfway position, what's the decimal for that?
0.2.
No.
0.5.
0.5. 0.5 is going to be our halfway kind of thing. So what's this then?
1.5.
1.5. And if I kept going, the next mark that size would be 2.5, and we'd count up and up and up. Then what they're going to do are some little babies, all the same size as each other. Not quite like the inches ruler where everything was all these different sizes, but they're all the rest of these marks are the same size. And this is much easier than the inches ruler. A thought on what this is?
That'll be 0.1.
That's 0.1.
0.2.
0.2, 0.3, 0.4.
All the way to 0.9.
All the way to 0.9. So if you can count, you can do the decimal number line. The highest mark is 0.9, the lowest mark is 0.1. If you count on your way through, you're fine. And if I asked you for this one, you wouldn't have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could just start counting from 5 and go 6, 7. Or start from 9 and go 8, 7. But if you can count, you can work this. The only difference in this zone is that before you say the decimal, you would drop in a 1. So this is 1.1. This one would finish with 1.9. You know, right here, this is 1.6, and so on and so forth. Question about decimal number line, if you can count, you can do it. The bigger part of the day, we're going to spend some time rounding. So we rounded once before, but it was all whole numbers. We haven't rounded since we started to have decimal numbers. I don't think, maybe we did round to decimal positions, but we're going to round again. If I ask you to round to a certain place, so I say, let's round this to the tens place. What are you going to do first? What do you think?
See if it's like 0 through 4, it can't round and it'll just go down to 20. If it's 5 through 9, it can round. So this one can round and it'll be 30, return to 30.
Agreed. Okay, so we're going to first find the place, which is a 2. The 2 is where we're going to either change it or keep it. That's going to be where the action happens. And then you always look to the
place behind it.
right or left.
Right.
We're going to look to the right. So if you get 5 or more, we go up to 3. And then what happens to everything on the beginning?
It, like on the left.
Yeah, like
It
this.
stays to the left.
It stays the same. So 1, 4, 9 all stays the same. To the right,
It turns to 0.
zeros. Why would I not want to go 0.00000? Why do I not want to really do that quite to that extent anymore?
Because you don't need to do it, you can just reduce it, because they're all zeros.
Yeah, who don't I need?
This is the decimal zeros.
The decimal zeros. I don't need or want any of those. What else don't I need or want either based on what we learned
Decimal
yesterday?
point?
The decimal point, we learned that yesterday. Don't put the decimal point if you don't need it. So that's rounding to the tenth. Somebody jump in, round us to the hundreds? Yeah.
It'd be 14,900.
Agreed.
Point.
The 9 is in the hundreds place. The 2 tells us that we should
Keep it.
just keep it. 2's too little. Couple zeros to finish the number. Copy the beginning of the number, and we're good. Do you want the point or don't want the point?
No point.
No point. Yesterday I'd have taken it, but after yesterday, we're saying no. No more points when there's nothing else going on. 1,000, somebody jump in on 1,000? Yep.
It would be 15,000.
It is 15,000. So the 4 is our place, 9 tells you to
Oh no.
go up. To 5, copy the beginning, 0 out the end. 10th place, what do you think?
You would just keep it the same. Oh, wait, no, it would become 2, 0, 0, 0, 0.
No, the 10th place is gonna be different.
Would it be the 6 is
Okay, 6 is where we're looking, the 6 is the 10th place.
and go up to the 8.7.
Up to 7. So 6 is in the 10th place, the 8 pushes you up to 7.
And then no zeros after that.
No zeros after that, because we learned that
So,
yesterday.
Put the point.
Put the point for sure.
And then keep everything else on to the what?
The 14925 just sits there. 100th place, somebody 100th place, yeah.
We keep it in 8.
Okay, 100th place is the 8, and we keep it, because 3 can't do anything.
Keep
Keep
the 6.
the 6.
And then keep everything to the left.
Yeah, keep everything to the left, including the point. So 14925, zip,
And no zero.
no zeros. Agreed. Somebody else, 1,000th place, yeah.
It would be 6. It would go up to
Who goes up?
3.
3 goes up to be a 4, okay.
And you keep the 8
Keep the 8,
and 6.
yeah,
And then put a decimal.
decimal,
And then the 14,000 after.
keep all that other stuff.
Or 5.
Agreed. Anybody question about round?
It's like the maximum only gonna, like for rounding on the homework, only gonna go up to like 4,000s?
Yeah, they won't go, they don't go too far to either end,
Okay.
yeah. They could, I mean, that's not against the rules, but yeah, our book is gonna tend to focus on 10, 100,000 in the wholes and 100,000th in the decimal. If I make this change, this can spark somewhat of a debate. So when I make that change, how many of the answers would have to get changed because I made that problem change?
All of them.
No, not all of them. 3, which 3?
1/10,
Yeah.
1/100, and the 1,000s.
I changed the decimal parts of these, so we would have to change all of the ones that involve decimal places. So if we went to the 10th place, what would happen that's sort of weird here with the 10th place?
Always become 10 tenths.
Yeah, the 9 tries to round up to be a 10, because this is the 10th place, this is telling us to go up. 9 tries to go up to be 10. What you have to sort of do is leave a 0 and
Make the 5 or 6.
make the 5 a 6. It's a word from adding. What are we gonna do there? What's that
That's
called?
out of 1.
Yeah, like it's a C word. we carry that 1 over. If we go to the hundredths place, this is the hundredths place, the 9 tells you to
Go to 10,
go up to 10, but you carry the 1.
and you just put the 1 there.
0,
That goes up to 10, and you
6,
carry another 1, and we'd end up here. How about thousandths place? What's the 6 tell you?
0,
Go up to 10, carry a 1.
0,
Go up to 10, carry a 1.
0.
Go up to 10, carry a 1.
peaks.
We're up to 6. And then there's going to be maybe an argument. Okay, some people might have an opinion on this. Argument might be too strong of a word. I don't know that your feelings are going to be that strong. But sometimes there's a little bit of a disagreement on what to do about this.
This is, you're supposed to add a 0 there.
I would disagree with adding a 0. Anybody have a different thought on this of why this is either good or bad? Because you can argue for like both scenarios actually.
Yeah, that's my way, but like
Can
the only two things I can think of is keep the 0 and take away the 0.
That's the discussion, yeah, is should we keep the 0 or should we ditch the 0? Could anybody give an argument for why we should ditch that 0?
Because there's no point
There's no point.
being there.
When did we learn that?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So the thing that we learned yesterday said if there were zeros at the right end, it expected us to take them off, which would mean we would do what else too while we're doing that?
Yeah, can we go?
Okay.
You would, so for 1/10 and 1/100ths, I just had big brain moment. You would keep the yeah, I think you would keep the 1/10 and the 1/100ths and the 1/1000. Oh wait, never mind. I thought it was like this. It was the 0, so for that one there will actually be 2 zeros, and then the 9 and the 6 will stay the same, but that doesn't happen when you
Yeah,
round
no,
up.
we aren't gonna do that. But where we were, train of thought was, the argument based on yesterday's lesson was, we can simplify decimals, we can take stuff away. It was suggested that we take away the 0, and I can understand that argument. But if we're taking away the 0, what else should happen?
Take away the decimal.
Take away the decimal as well. So that would be an argument. One argument would be, we learned this yesterday, so let's do it today. Take away the zeros, take away the points that we don't need, and some people would consider that answer to be better. Why might other people argue with that and say, no, you gotta leave it?
Some other people would think, well, it's technically part of the 10.
Correct. So the directions said, round this to the tenths. So some other people might say, if your directions tell you to round something to the tenths, it should have a number in the tenths. You shouldn't erase the place that the direction said to do. And there's a point to both of those arguments. My answer to this is, I don't care. I'll consider those to be both correct. I think those are both winning arguments. So if you're told to fill the tenths, and you fill the tenths, I'm not going to argue with that. If you're told to fill the hundredths, and you have zeros filling the hundredths, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm fine with that. But if you decide to use yesterday's lesson that we learned and take away the things that don't really need to be there, I'm okay with that too. I don't care. So I think the answers in my book, I think they leave the numbers there. Let me see. I think when they have zeros in their positions, they will leave the zeros in the positions. Yes, they do. So if they get, in the opinion of the authors of this book, if they tell you to use a certain position, they expect us to leave the 0. But as the person who grades your papers, I'm telling you it doesn't matter. If you ever go to another school, ask your new teacher what they want you to do about that, because other people may have other opinions. The only time I will say I'm going to weigh in and make you do this is if it's a money problem, you're going to have to do money signs. And then I wouldn't ask you to round to the tenths. If I'm doing money, I can really only ask you to round to the hundredths. So if I give you a money problem, I could only ask you to round to the hundredths, and I do want you to leave those because it's like dollars and cents stuff now. Like you would need the 2 decimal place for dollar problems. So there I have a 100% opinion, yes, you need to fill those positions. Question about rounding, question about decimal number line thing. So here's our homework. We're on 2 pages. 118, we're only going to do an A to F. So A to F is going to be the decimal number line. They're going to draw that there. So 115, A to F. To the back, we're going to do set S. Set S is going to be a bunch of rounding stuff, is all that's back there. Question about any of that? Can you hit the stop button?